The quest for leaving no one behind has triggered very important lever of change, namely data revolution. This call implores governments to address the human condition through use of evidence under the call for sustainable development. We should therefore systematically identify, organize, and apply evidence and planning, implementation, and monitoring of change in the material and social well-being of all the world's people. The report to the United Nations Secretary General on the world that counts makes this point very important.
Understand it, in particular because we are looking at evidence as the basis for decision making. The MDGs, with all the difficulties that we might have had, have been very useful. In fact, in making statistics visible. I think what we are talking about is that there is a lot of promise in the SDGs, in particular because it has brought on board one of the things that were omitted, which is measurement of natural capital and so on. But by bringing natural capital, which has been exploited without being recognized, is very, very important. The deteriorating conditions of the seas, the mines, and so on, and the use of measurement is very, very critical. The other area that is very, very critical is on governance, peace, and security, because those are related and associated to the exploitation of natural capital, which leads to wars at times. So bringing that together under the umbrella and rubric of nations to look at brings hope for better outcomes under the SDGs rubric in the world. So the data revolution, as we suggest, is already happening. What we had to do was to look at how to define it so that we have a common understanding around it and how it gets used.
The transition is that lessons learned from the MDGs, which basically attended to a poverty agenda in the social context, is one that we want to now recognize that you can't do that in a silo. You need to connect it to the economy, you need to connect it to the environment. And so sustainable development, in a way, is a much more integrated approach to development. It's not one that we put a Band-Aid on, it's one that we work from the inside of a development plan and a policy and a vision of a country to try to achieve those aspirations. That transition will take time, because this time the development agenda is very much about a universal one that includes everyone. With the MDGs, it was basically a northern agenda to the south, and the south meant Africa and a bit of Southeast Asia. Now we're talking about Latin America, we're talking about islands, we're talking about everyone. And we're not just looking to see a few, we're looking to see how can we take everyone forward. And statistics and data are going to play a really huge role in that.
Well, you see, the data are around us, and our life is already very much influenced by data, not only by statistics that monitor what's going on, but we are using data every day, and we are generating data. And the public sector is much more advanced in using this information to run their business. But we still have big divides within countries, between countries. Data revolution is a great opportunity for governments, for companies, for individuals to make better decisions for better lives. But we need, first, to collect this information and transform it into useful information. The people must be able to use this information. Data literacy programs should start in each and every country, because in the 21st century, a citizen must be a data literate. Otherwise, he or she will be excluded by the society.
Fellow South Africans and distinguished guests, the key areas of good performance in 2014, as embodied in the Development Indicators 2014, are as follows. South Africa's life expectancy has increased by 8.5 years, from 52.7 years in 2004 to 61.2 years in 2014. Infant mortality has improved from 58 to 34 deaths per 1,000 live births between 2002 and 2014. Over the same period, under 5 mortality has decreased from 85 to 44 deaths per 1,000 live births. South Africa has contributed to halting and reversing the spread of HIV in the Millennium Development Goals. The number of HIV-positive persons on antiretroviral treatment in South Africa was at 2.8 million in 2014, which is a significant portion of the global target of 15 million. The number of people on antiretroviral treatment has now reached 3.5 million. The global target was achieved ahead of 2015. The percentage of households in living standards, the LSM from 1 to 3, has decreased from 40% to 11% over the period 2000 to 2013. The number of households has expanded from 10.8 million to 15.6 million between 2002 and 2014. Over the same period, the share of households accessing basic services has increased from 77% to 86% in the case of electricity, from 80% to 86% for water infrastructure, which exceeded the Reconstruction and Development Program standards. The proportion of households accessing sanitation went up from 62% to 80%. The share of 5-year-olds attending early childhood development facilities more than doubled from 39% in 2002 to 87% in 2014. In 2014, 84% of adults in South Africa were literate, up from 73% in 2002. Our country compares favorably to other African and Middle Eastern countries in international comparisons. Combating the unacceptably high levels of crime remains a priority. Between 2002 and 2013, the number of serious crimes reported was reduced from over 5,000 to 3,500 per 1,000 population. Since first assessed in 2006, South Africa has persistently performed well in terms of the public having access to budget information and provided with the opportunity to participate in the budget process at national level. In 2012, we were rated second out of 100 countries. Tax revenue has grown significantly due to economic growth, a broader tax base, and more effective revenue collection. The income tax register has been expanded from 3 million taxpayers in 1996 to almost 20 million in 2014. Almost 15 million international travelers arrived in our country in 2013, double the number in 2005. Tourism generated 4.6% of total employment in 2012, up from 4% in 2005, and has contributed 93 billion rand to GDP in 2012, more than double the 45 billion rand in 2005. These indicators play a crucial role in assisting government and the public to track the effectiveness of government policies and the interventions using aggregate data.